Hola, hola, hola amigos y amigas del programa de Infusión Espiritual de la Semana. Aquí con ustedes Esther Royo y como siempre con mi amiga y mi compañera Esther Naor. Y estamos las dos aquí para compartir con ustedes todo lo que es la energía de la semana, ese pronóstico espiritual y estamos aquí para compartir las herramientas y los tips que les queremos ayudar para que todos tengan. Todo está de acuerdo a lo que es Kabbalah, que son las leyes espirituales e universales. Y en el episodio de hoy vamos a hablar sobre la guía cabalística para hacerse rico. Entonces, pero antes de entrar a esa guía cabalística para hacernos rico, quiero que Esther, por favor, si nos puedes ayudar a entrar, porque va a venir lo que es la luna nueva del mes de Capricornio. Entra este fin de semana, el sábado, y sí que antes de entrar en lo que queremos realmente escuchar, sí quiero hablar un
Es que
poquito.
está relacionado, actually.
Sí,
Entonces,
en verdad,
ya.
está
Hola
relacionado.
a todos.
Quiero que hables sobre lo que es la luna nueva del mes de Capricornio.
Claro que sí. Entonces, oigan, antes que nada, les recordamos que estamos ahorita dentro de la semana de Hanukkah, esta apertura cósmica que nos brinda la energía de milagros, que podemos conectar con ellos. Ya les explicamos un poco de esto la semana pasada, pero igual recordaros que podemos aprovechar y todo está relacionado con abundancia, la energía de milagros y la nueva luna de Capricornio. Justamente este viernes a noche y todo sábado tenemos esta apertura cósmica que es la semilla del mes de Capricornio. ¿Y por qué nos enfocamos en abundancia y riqueza durante el mes de Capricornio? Porque es una de las cosas que a los Capricornios les gusta mucho, el dinero. Queremos aprovechar que tenemos esta apertura cósmica dentro de la semana de milagros y con la nueva luna para entender qué significa ser rico espiritualmente hablando. ¿Se vale querer ser rico? Porque los Capricornios tienen mucho problema con el dinero. Lo sé, tengo dos papás en Capricornio, guys, tengo planes en Capricornio, son gente que está muy apegada al dinero, necesitan tener dinero para sentirse bien, les afecta el dinero, les cuesta trabajo compartir su dinero. El aspecto material es muy importante para ellos. Y claro, ¿quién no quiere ser rico? Por Dios. Y si alguien dice, no, no quiero ser rico, no es cierto, todos queremos ser ricos, todos queremos estar bien económicamente. El dinero tiene un lugar en el mundo espiritual y queremos explorar eso hoy porque es algo que es importante para todos, que todos necesitamos. No se puede vivir en este mundo físico sin dinero, no se puede hacer nada en este mundo físico sin dinero. Vamos a explorarlo y vamos a aprovechar esta apertura cósmica de Capricornio que gira mucho alrededor del dinero para eh, poder entender esto más desde el punto de vista espiritual y poder tener éxito en esta área también.
Ahorita, antes de que entremos a la parte bien jugosa, sí les voy a poner rapidito en los comentarios donde pueden ustedes entonces hacer la conexión de la luna nueva del mes de Capricornio en línea. Entonces, ahora sí quiero darle una sorpresita. Tenemos a una invitada especial, muy, muy querida por nosotras. Se llama Batya Solomon. Hola, Batya. Pero
Hola.
sí
Hola,
quiero
mis
decirle,
amigos y mis amigas. ¿Cómo
excelente.
están?
Me encanta. Entonces, sí quiero decirles, chicos y chicas, que Batya vamos a estar hablando en inglés, porque esa es su lengua materna, entonces se le hace más fácil hablar en inglés. Y que vamos a estar hablando en inglés, pero sí vamos a tener los subtítulos para que todo el mundo pueda entonces entender todo lo que ella está hablando, porque es una experta en todo lo que es la prosperidad, y eso es todo lo que queremos hablar en el día de hoy. So, Batya, thank you so much for being with us in the day in our podcast today. And we want to ask you, for you to help us with those beautiful Kabbalistic guides to becoming rich. And what does it actually mean to be rich Kabbalistically? And if you can be spiritual and rich at the same time, and is it okay for us to want to be rich? So take away and tell us all about this Kabbalistic guide of becoming rich.
First of all, thank you for having me. Hablo un poquito español, pero I better speak in English so that we can get through this time. Anyway, so what is it to be prosperous, to be rich? It's not just about having money. There are a lot of people who have a lot of money, but they also have a lot of problems. And it's not about collecting stuff, because a lot of people have stuff. They have cars, they have houses, but they don't necessarily mean they have a happy life. So when we talk about being prosperous, we talk about First of all, having a life's purpose, having self-esteem, knowing who you are, having a connection to God or your creator or Allah or Jesus or whoever it is that, the cosmos, your higher self, the universe. It's knowing your place in the universe and your purpose. And then it's having a passion. It requires having a passion. What are you doing on planet Earth? What's your passion? Are you following your passion? And then it's about who do you want to be experiencing your good life with, your money, and who to spend it with, and time, having the time to spend it with. Unfortunately, many people have many false beliefs around money, around prosperity. It's not spiritual to be rich, it's spiritual to be poor, and that is not true. That's a blatant lie. It's actually a sin to be poor. You are meant to be rich. It's our heritage. It's our birthright. If you look in nature, if you don't believe me, just look in nature. Notice the planet Earth. It is continuously giving forth abundance. The nature of things, the natural order of things is abundance. It's a flow. It's a prosperity everywhere. If you take something like a simple example, like you plant an apple seed, a teeny weeny little apple seed, and you put it in the ground, what eventually will you get? You put some effort, you put some time, and what do you get? You get infinite number of apples. Infinite number of apples. You don't still get one seed, you get one apple. You get a seed, you plant a seed, you get a tree, and you get infinite number of apples that sustain you. So what's the problem? Why don't we feel that abundance in our lives? And this one simple reason, according to Kabbalah, there are 3 basic rules of the universe that a lot of people don't know about. First of all, the creator force is a force of infinite giving and sharing. It's not a punishing force. Punishment is what we do to ourselves. It is not coming from God, the creator of the universe. That's something we do to ourselves. So that's for awakening number 1. What do I do to myself that prevents me from experiencing happiness? What are the things I think about myself? What are the things I say about myself? What are the destructive things I do to myself? It's really important to get real honest very quickly if you want to have a life-changing experience starting right now. You can change it right now. So first of all, who are you? And what are you saying? Where's your blockages? So the light force wants to give us everything. Rule number 2, it's called free will. We, as humanity, we ask for free will. That's why you say, God, why don't you just step in here and, do something for me? Why don't you just send an angel right there down in my face here and help me and take me out of this trouble? The answer is because we ask for free will. And the definition of love, by the way, when you really love someone, you are willing to witness their process with them. Witness their process with them without interfering, the way a loving parent will allow a child to walk, to struggle, to stand and fall, and then stand and fall many, many times, and then stand and then walk and fall and walk and fall. If we tried to walk for our children, they would never walk. If we try to overgive to our children, they would never give. We have to step back and let them have their process. And that is what the Creator does for us, because it's from love, not from punishment. If you're suffering, just pay attention. You're doing it to yourself. And once you know you do it to yourself, only then can you shift it and change it. So rule number 3, rule number 1, the Creator wants to give us everything, and we're entitled to it, and it's our birthright. Rule number 2, we ask for free will. No. I want to be creator. I want to be part of the creation. So I have free will. Don't give me unless I'm willing to create the proper circumstances to resonate to that frequency of abundance. Then it shows up for me. So rule number 3 is the Creator can only give us what we will allow to show up in our world. Allow. Now, what happens when someone is very lack focused? I need money. I need a girlfriend. I need a husband. I need a whatever. when we are unfortunately allowing ourselves to stay in that kind of resonance or that kind of frequency of thinking, the universe, again, creator loves us, is witnessing our process with us, will reflect back to us what we're actually creating. So when we're coming from a place of lack, we're actually creating more lack. It is not, I repeat, not spiritual to be poor. It is spiritual to be rich. And if you look at our role models, the heroes of the Bible, for example, which, by the way, unfortunately has been corrupted, the understanding of the Bible has been corrupted, and it's a religious book. Actually not. According to the Kabbalists, the Bible is actually an instruction manual for humanity. It's an instruction manual. It's a handbook for humanity, how to navigate through this world and have a successful life. If you take the religiosity out of it, you will find that it's filled with treasures of prosperous advice and role models, how to live a prosperous life. Know who you are, have a connection with the creative force. That filling that hole within you, that emptiness is the disconnection between you and your higher self, let's say. Removing the gap to that. Having plenty, welcoming abundance in your world. Welcome it. Don't chase after it, because the more you chase after anything, it runs away from you. If you've ever been to a social event and you've seen needy people, and what do you do when you're around a needy person? You feel their neediness. They want something from you, right? What do? You run away. Well, money runs away too. FYI, when you chase after money, money runs away from you. How do you attract money? You don't attract anything, by the way. That's also the law of attraction, I'm sorry to tell you, is a myth. It's not true. It's not the way the spiritual law works. The spiritual law works on Kabbalistically, there's something called the law of affinity. Like begets like creates like. In other words, the universe is our mirror. The universe is our mirror. Whatever is showing up in a physical way did not come from somewhere else. It came from within you. And as you resonate, whatever you're resonating to, whatever your consciousness is, whatever your thoughts are, your assumptions, your beliefs, it's being reflected all around you. If you don't believe that you're worthy of love, guess what? You won't be around loving people. If you feel that you are worthy, or you do enjoy beauty and you see beauty everywhere, you will see beauty everywhere. You'll create beauty everywhere, because everything is just a mirror. It's just mirroring for you. So when you want to be with loving, thoughtful people, let's say, be a loving, thoughtful person. If you want to be rich, be a rich giver. Be a rich giver. What does that mean? The universal law is you don't get something for nothing. And that's what usually when people are poor, they're broke, they're always looking for something and without giving anything, like they're entitled to. I want money. Worse than that is a belief that I can't have it because money is hard to come by. I have to work hard for money. So I either have money or I either have time. These are false beliefs. They're limiting false beliefs. And nothing will change until you change your mind. That's the beginning. Today is a new moment. It had never happened before. Today is a new moment. No matter what happened to you in the past, no matter how much you feel you got screwed over by society, by the economy, by other people, it doesn't matter. Today is a new day. It's a new beginning. So don't beat yourself up if you realize, wow, I really messed myself over here because I really think negative things about myself. I think negative things about my family. I think negative things about everyone. So what? You got it? You understand? You got the lesson? Shift it. What are the positive things you can see, you can do? You've got to share. If you want to be rich, if you want to feel the richness of life, it always begins the same way. You must think thoughts of goodness, kindness, thoughtfulness, and actions of sharing. There's always someone you can share with. There's always some way you can share. If you say to me, oh, I don't even have a penny, there's always something. And if you want to get the ball rolling, Allow it to come to you. What's one thing you have you can share? Who's one person you can share with? The more you do that, the more you think like that, I guarantee you, things, abundance will begin to show up in your world. It will, but you must be the initiator. You are the creator, and you must be the initiator to be a giver. And don't worry if anyone that you're giving and you're not getting in return, because you know what? It's not between you and other people. There's only one source of supply. That's the creator. The creator is our source. Money does not come from other people. Money comes through other people. If you keep that in mind, you will never be a slave to another person again. Money comes from the creator source, and it comes through other people. And so once you understand that, you accept it, you go, wow, that's amazing. Then you're free. You don't have to enslave yourself to any situation or any kind of person or any kind of a limited or abusive relationship, because now you know everything is creator. The creator wants us to have everything. We're the ones that are blocking it. Why are we blocking it? With false belief systems about ourselves and about the world. But just as easily that you can believe you're worth less, just as easily you can make a new decision and be worthy of abundance, worthy of love, worthy of creativity, worthy of going to your next level. Somebody's got to do it, and no one can do the job that your soul came to this world to do. No one can do it but you. So let's say you're a shoe designer. Oh, but there's a million shoe designers. So what? You have a unique energy, a unique channeling energy to do whatever you're doing. And if you are staying in alignment with your godlike nature, coming from abundance, just want to share, the universe will supply me, not that person. I'm not doing it for that person. I want to be a giver. I guarantee you, the more you give, the more you receive, because giving causes getting. I'll say it again. Giving causes getting. It doesn't work any other way. First, you plant the seed, and then you have food for a lifetime. You must take that action of being a giver. This is the giving season. But you know what? In Kabbalah, every day is the giving season. Don't relegate your thoughts of caring about the poor and other people and your friends and family only 1 week out of the year, or even a month out of the year. No, it's every day. Every day that you can be a giver, every day that you can forgive. Another blockage to being rich is holding resentment. It causes all sorts of diseases. It causes a lot of poverty and chaos, is that withholding of forgiveness. If you want to be free, if you truly want to be free, to be the master of your own fate, it requires forgiveness. It's not about the other person. When you forgive, no matter what they did, they will have to meet their maker and they will have to deal with it. It's not between you and them. That's between them and the creator. But between you and that other person, when you forgive, you set yourself free because it's good for you. Did I answer your question?
Of course. Now, I do want to ask you, so you were emphasizing, well, you gave a lot of tips, but you were emphasizing towards the end about how when you give, you're going to be able to get. So what happens when someone gives a lot and feels that they do give and they're not seeing that result back in return? How can we help those people, and how can we help us people? Because
that's not giving. When a person is when a person is keeping score, that's not giving. It's trading. It's bartering. I took you out to dinner 5 times, and you never offered to take me out to dinner. That's keeping score. If you stop keeping score and realize that energy never goes to waste, whatever your energy that you put into a project, let's say, and the project got scrapped, you try to build something and nobody bought it, whatever it is you did, and you worked on something and you didn't get any credit for it, you have to understand that energy never lies. That energy will always come back to you. But if you're keeping score, then you're coming from a place of limitation. And therefore, the only thing you're going to keep is the resentment that you're building against that other person. Because when you truly share, it means, here, Take it. I don't want it. It's yours. I'm free. I get joy out of the sharing. I'm not keeping score. If you're keeping score, you're not sharing. It may look like it, you're not sharing. And therefore, there's no blessings attached to it. There's no abundance really, truly attached to it. The number 2 big tool is tithing. Tithing is giving 10% of whatever shows up in your world to the place that feeds you spiritually. You don't tithe to the boys club or the next door neighbor or your cousin that needs help with the rent. That's helping, but that's not tithing. Tithing is a specific spiritual tool that is the one thing that is guaranteed that when a person tithes, at least 10 times will come back to them. It's guaranteed that God says, test me. It's the one place in the Bible where God says, test me. But the reason why people don't necessarily get a blessing from their tithing is because they're not tithing correctly. You can't mix it in with charity. Again, when you plant the seed, you can't plant the seed on the beach. It won't happen. If you eat the seed, nothing will come of it. You've got to put it back in a specific place, the place you drew the blessings from. Where do we draw our blessings from? Our spiritual connection. Where do you have your spiritual connection? Where do you draw? What spiritual well are you drinking from? That's the place you tithe to constantly replenish you. So that's huge. Tithe yourself to wealth is what the experts say. Now, if you own a business, you tithe 10% of the net. If you're working, have a job, you tithe after taxes. So that's what you tithe on. Business, after the business expenses, whatever the profit is, you tithe 10% to that. Any questions on that?
I want to go back. Not regarding the tithing, I'm clear on that. I think thank you for sharing about that tool, because the show is called, this episode is called The Kabbalistic Guide to Becoming Wealthy. And that's definitely a big part of the Kabbalistic Guide, is learning how to share your wealth, and tithing is a big part of it.
There's a deep reason for that. I don't know if we have time to go into that.
I'm not sure also, but I do want to share that it works. I have to tell you, it works. I say, from my personal experience, I practice tithing personally. And from students I've worked with, it definitely works. So we can't go into why it works maybe so much now, but it does work. But I want to go back to something you said before this, because we were talking about the idea of changing belief systems, right? And if you want to, it's spiritual to be wealthy, basically, which means that it's spiritual to believe you're worthy of wealth. Can you give us some tips on how to achieve that belief system? But for example, for me, it's still hard. I've worked a lot on myself, and I think I'm getting there, but I do have this belief system of I'm not worthy, and it doesn't change from day to night. So do you have some tips? Because that is, it all starts with consciousness, as you mentioned, and that's like a bit of consciousness that we can switch. So I would love to hear what you have to say about that.
Okay. Well, worthiness. So the main reason why most of us feel a sense of not feeling worthy is because most of us, I'd say almost all of humanity, is walking around with some form of shame or guilt. And what is the shame or guilt about? That we have turned our back on the most important relationship of our lives, which is our relationship with the creative force, our true identity. It's like most of us are walking around believing we're actually Clark Kent when we're really Superman. Imagine if Superman had amnesia. That's what we have. We're like Superman, Superwoman, and we're walking around in amnesia, and we're all identifying ourselves as Clark Kent. Wait a minute, something feels off. I know my name is Clark. I'm wearing glasses. I work for a newspaper, but I don't know, something feels off. I feel an emptiness in my life. And that emptiness is what wears us down in terms of worthiness, because that worthiness, that connection is dried up because we don't know who we really are. So first, it's to understand who you really are. You are a diamond. You are a diamond. You're like Superman. We all have actual superpowers. We don't realize it because we're still over-identifying with Clark Kent, who's like a nebbish. He's like, a weak little guy. That's how we see ourselves, unfortunately. But the truth is, look in the mirror and look into your eyes and see your greatness. You are a diamond. You are a spark of creator force. This is not who we really are. We're all wearing earth suits, these little earth suits that are designed to make us feel limited and to convince us that creator doesn't exist. And so our job in this world is constantly to work to remind ourselves that I'm with the creator all the time. The creator's with me all the time. The creator's in me all the time. I am a spark of the light force of the creator. I am a diamond. I am a diamond. You are a diamond. The more that you choose to shine your diamond, your light, the happier you'll be. But if first of all, you don't know you're a diamond, you think you're Clark Kent, what a wasted life. Can you imagine what the world would be like if Clark Kent never realized he was Superman? He saved the world how many times, right? And so you think I'm joking, but I'm really not. Each and every one of us has our specific thing to do that saves the world. And if you're not saving the world, how are you going to feel good about yourself? If you're not connecting that part of you that is the unique channel that you are resonating to your passion. If you want to know, what am I meant to do in this world? Look for your passion. What do you enjoy doing? What are you drawn to? And don't let anyone internally or externally convince you otherwise. Now, let's say your passion is dance, for example. It doesn't mean you have to quit your job and try to be a professional dancer. It means wherever you can, however you can, bring dance into your life. If there's something you secretly want to do, whatever that thing is, it doesn't mean that you have to completely drop everything you're doing unless you feel called forth to do it. I know I've done that in my life, but not everybody, is up to that. Done that a couple of times, as a matter of fact, completely changed my life on a dime, but not everybody is ready for that. That's okay. But what's that next step you could do to be more in alignment with who you truly are? Who are you truly? So there's a force that comes with our suit, with our little virtual reality suit that we're wearing. It comes with a lot of different accessories. One of the accessories we have, everybody's got 2 eyes, 2 ears, two nose and a mouth, 2 arms and legs. It also has another accessory that nobody talks about enough. And that accessory, in Kabbalah, we call it the opponent. It's this voice in our head that convinces us it's us talking, and it's always negative and plays small, and it's critic. It's that inner critic. If they really knew what a loser I am, nobody would love me. So I better not show anyone who I really am. It's a lie. Start to pay attention to when that opponent voice is speaking to you, and when your soul voice is speaking to you. And your soul voice is the giver. The opponent voice is the taker. So again, it requires, if you seriously want to go to your next level of abundance, it really requires going within, being quiet, paying attention. Who's trying to convince me about what? Who is telling me to take it easy, go watch TV and stay up too late so I can't go to work tomorrow and function? And who's telling me, hey, how about some prayer? How about some meditation? How about doing something? Let's think about someone we can share with. That's the voice of abundance. How can I be a giver? How can I be more giver? The more you give, the happier you are. The more you see what's wrong and what people are not giving back to you, the more miserable you are. Doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank, it's actually irrelevant. What's relevant is how are you living right here, right now? Do you realize you are rich in life right now? You're breathing, you're rich. If you're breathing, that means you've got another chance to turn your life around. You have another chance to go to that next level of happiness, that next level of riches, that next level of opening your heart, that next level of forgiveness. It's constantly peeling away layers and layers of shells of negativity. It's the work we came to this world to do. That's who we really are. Remember, you're a superhero and you're a diamond. And every time you get depressed, you got to remember, the only reason I'm depressed right now is I forgot I'm a diamond and it's not shining. So how do you shine your diamond? Be a giver. Be more thoughtful. Be more kind. Be more caring. First, it begins with you. Take care of yourself first. Get enough sleep. Eat well. Take care of yourself. If you need a glass of water, get off the sofa and get yourself a glass of water. You probably do it faster for someone else than you would do for yourself. If that voice in you is saying, hey, we need to Pay attention. Pay attention. Because as much as you value yourself is as much as the world will value you. Don't expect the world to value you first and then you value yourself. Oh, when I make X amount of money, then I'll be okay. No, you'll never be okay because that's coming from lack. But if you say, I'm okay now, I'm rich now, the money will match my value and worth that I feel about myself. So what makes you feel worthy? What makes you feel worthy? What are the things, the loving things you can do for yourself and others that awakens a next level of worthiness for you? And that one of the easiest ways to do that is to get yourself into a state of gratitude. Make a list of how fortunate you are. Every now and then, personally, I'm shocked and in awe of the fact that the universe, the creator, sustains me in every second. Every second that my washing machine is working, that my oven is working, that my car is working, that my home is protected, that my children are safe and healthy, that I get from A to B, that I've managed to get through the day without having an accident. That's a miracle. I've been sustained. You are being sustained as we speak. How can we even think to have thoughts of what we're not getting when we are in that attitude of awe of how much we're sustained every second of the day? It's incredible. You can't help but be happy. You can't help but celebrate. And so when you stay in that state of happiness, celebration, gratitude, money will match you the way someone who's very confident in a social situation becomes a magnet. People want to be with that person. They're drawn to that person. That's the essence of charisma. I value myself so much. Of course, wow, what is that person doing? I want some of that. It's not something you can fake because energy never lies. People try to fake it, but they can't sustain it. Even if someone made a lot of money and they don't feel and do the things I just said in this podcast, they will lose it because they tried to fake it. You cannot fake it. Energy never lies. Just remember that.
So just before, I know we're going to conclude the show, so I just want to kind of like what I'm getting from you. Well, you spoke amazing and lots of things about it, but one thing that I really want to stress, because I've spoken about this before on this podcast, the idea that what is a Kabbalistic guide to being rich? First of all, to share and to give. And one of the specific ways to do that is through tithing. And you can learn more about it by reaching out to
charity.
us with you and charity. But another thing is to be more yourself, basically, right? To be your authentic self, which, by the way, is a giver because our soul is divine. And that's the essence of the creator, which I think is just beautiful because I mean, I talk a lot about the idea of how important it is to be authentic and how Kabbalah really has helped me personally to be more authentic. And I feel I'm more authentic every day. But what you have just said, like linked it to physical wealth as well. What's the best way to be wealthy? Is to be more you, really you, not the you that is the opponent, as you said, not the you that is that layer of insecurity and fear, but the real you. The more you are really you, the wealthier you will be. And that real you is the one that gives, the one that appreciates. And I think that's just so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's pure gold right there.
By the way, I teach prosperity principles every week on Kabbalah.com. If you'd like to hear more of what I have to say, I go very far, very wide, and very deep into this and various subjects. Every week is another aspect of maintaining a prosperity consciousness, which is, by the way, consciousness is like a balloon. You have to constantly work to keep it elevated. If you leave it alone, it falls to the ground, and you wonder why I woke up in the morning depressed. The reason why is you stopped working on consciousness. It's the most important activity that you can do in your life is to constantly work to elevate, keep your consciousness at a high level. And that's why we have classes, and that's why we have podcasts, and that's why we have conversations, and we have teachers who guide and mentor you. It's because we all need to be constantly working on our consciousness and constantly reminded of all of these principles. And that's the work of being an earthling.
Exactly. Well, Batya, I just want to take this moment to thank you so much for being with us here on this podcast and this week. It's always an honor being with you and being by your side and learning so much from you. And I'm going to switch to Spanish now. Chicos y chicas, espero que hayan recibido tanto como yo he recibido en el día de hoy con todos estos tips y estos consejos que nos ha compartido Batya a todos nosotros. Recuerden que el universo es nuestro espejo y que la energía no miente. Así que comencemos a poner esa conciencia y a conectarnos más con esa esencia de nosotros que es nuestra conexión con la luz del Creador también. Así que muchas gracias por estar con nosotros y nos vemos entonces la próxima semana a la misma hora y el mismo canal. Thank you so much, Batya. Gracias
Thank
a
you.
todos. Bye.
Gracias.
Thank you. That was